13. Gotta get a keeper. Prescott breaks a tackle. Picks up a total of 9 more.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh! You almost gotta hope it's a cramp, don't you? If you're a Cowboy fan right there.
That bitch is not a cramp, son. That bitch is.
That does not look
oh,
good, Jim.
Look at that mug.
Oh no!
And look at Gallup reacting and Dalton
That
getting
boy
ready
say
to
he
go
hope
in.
it's a cramp. A cramp. That
Oh, you can
bitch
just see
crook
that at the bottom.
sideways,
Just-
dick.
Oh.
Watch this boy. Shit. Watch this boy. Oh, look at that boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
One
That
of those you
bitch
don't want
broke.
to see twice.
Oh my.
You saw it going to break. Dak Prescott's right ankle, right foot turned sideways.
Oh no, it ain't turned no sideways, dick. That bitch out of there. That bitch hanging on by a
Jones
piece of
family.
skin. Stop stunting.
Knowing that is what appears to be severe. And look at Jason Garrett come out. Check in on his former quarterback.
You hate for any team in the National Football League to lose their quarterback, and I think the Cowboys and their fans, everybody knows how important
Ooh-wee.
that,
This was
is to the success of this
merely
team.
months ago.
We hope he's
Somebody
He's
tell
okay.
me when football season
It's not
start. I
something
don't too much keep up with this. When
have no idea
football
right now.
season
Just feel
start.
for
Because this was a hell of an
just
injury
like
just a
everybody
few
else.
months ago, Dick.
I wish him well, Jim.
Hey,
See how
they
long it's
canceled
taking,
the-
too, you know,
stop
just
the
to-
whole game.
Put him on the cart. And he's a great kid, and I know a lot of people love him in the organization. I've been around him. He's a great leader for that football team.
So what's going on? What they gonna do? He clapping for
Look
him.
at the love for him.
That nigga ain't scored no touchdown. What they clapping by?
I think it's, you can tell by his face, he knows that it's not something small.
Not something small. Did you hear the commentator? It's not something small. Wipe your tears, big man. You did your thing, you did. Wipe your tears, Dick.
Kid right there's never missed a start, Jim, his entire career.
Okay, they rolling my boy
One of the good
out
ones in the
right.
league.
Now, let me
Good
stop
guys.
right here.
Somehow you got to get back to a football game.
Valued with this long-term contract.
I don't think so. I think that it's a situation where look where he is. You're Jerry Jones. You waited. You are what the market says you are. And in this particular instance, it's the year 2021. Obviously, the salary cap has been increasing. We know how COVID has compromised the NFL season and the compound
Man,
fracture
this
of his
dude
right
can't
ankle.
even
We would
talk
expect
right.
that to be something so debilitating that it would definitely compromise his ability to get a long-term deal. But Jerry Jones finally came to his senses and paid the guy, as far as I'm concerned, what he worth. I was along a range of like $38 million or whatever, but we're at this
You
point in time,
and everybody
38,
else was
40,
around
what does it matter when you consider the
the
television
range of
contracts that are coming down the
38
pipe, how the
million.
salary cap is expected to elevate and soar in the years to come? It pans itself out. In the end, I'm not going to sit up there and say he's overvalued because I see how horrid the Dallas Cowboys were last season without him. Andy Dalton wasn't the answer. That offensive line wasn't the answer. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't the same. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, C.D. Lamb, even though he was a rookie, none of them looked as good as they looked when Dak Prescott was in the game, was playing for them for the first 4.5 games of last season. Mike McCarthy didn't look as good as a coach. Kellen Moore didn't look as good as an offensive coordinator. The defense, particularly against the run, was non-existent. Dak Prescott, departing from that locker room due to his injury, had such an incredibly debilitating effect on the franchise that in and of itself elevated his value. We can't just look at it and say, excuse me, these are the numbers a quarterback should get or shouldn't get.
Y'all trying to justify the overpayment
to a particular respective franchise. And in that regard, seeing what the Dallas Cowboys were with him compared to what they were without him, there is no question in my mind he's not being overvalued.
Of course he's being overvalued because it's a next man up league. And unless that next man up is Patrick Mahomes, if he's resetting the market or just about, because you could have a debate about who has a better deal, Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott. Think about that for a second. Mahomes just did his deal. Unless you're the best guy in the league or one of the top 2 or 3, you're going to be overpaid. And Stephen A., when you say the market, you are what the market says you are, that's an unrestrained market. But this market is constrained by the CBA, which is in place in order to make sure the players don't get paid what they're worth. There are all kinds of mechanisms and devices and nonsense
for the people that don't understand. Basically, they got to get paid out the same money pool. Can't just pay them what you want out there, Jones' pocket.
With a franchise tag. Right? The franchise tag's there to give the team control, but also the players some flexibility, at least some money if the team won't, pay him long term. The franchise tag, which counts all against the cap that year, and it's the average of the top 5 salaries, is paying Dak this year, all in this year it would have paid him, as though he's a top 5 quarterback. But actually the average of their salaries, not just like the 5th best one, but he's not. He's not the 5th best quarterback. He's not in the top 5 anywhere.
Man, he's not in the top 5 anywhere. You gotta be kidding me. 160 million.
Is he worth
top
that money?
number
No,
one.
as a matter of fact, to the Cowboys, he had all the leverage in this negotiation because Jerry Jones bungled it so badly along the way that finally we got to the 11th hour and the Cowboys are like, we need some cap relief. Okay, here's the 4-year deal.
Yeah,
Dak
cap
Prescott
relief,
is
cap talk,
good
if
enough
anything,
so that his team doesn't want to let him walk out the door. Because as I told you yesterday, the NFL's divided into haves and have-nots. Either you have a quarterback or you don't. The Cowboys believe they have a quarterback. They don't want to lose him. The franchise tag made
they don't want to lose him. They ain't want to get a boy $30 million.
That's different
just a couple of months ago.
He's worth it.
Now he's worth over $160 million. 4-year contract. Come on, man. Something ain't right. Talk to me.
And the team needs to be much better.
Okay, let's go down the list, Max Kellerman, because you sit up there and you talk about next man up. Who's the next man? Patrick Mahomes ain't going anywhere. Lamar Jackson's 24 years old. He's in Baltimore. He ain't going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers is 36, 37 years of age. He wasn't going to Green Bay. Russell Wilson's 32 years of age. He was thinking about going somewhere else, but obviously the Seattle Seahawks would have to comply to some degree in order for him to go, so the likelihood is that he's not going anywhere. So when we say next man up, who's that next man that Jerry Jones could go out and get to replace Dak Prescott? I'm sorry, it ain't Mitchell Trubisky. It ain't Nick Foles. Who the hell is it? It ain't Big Ben Roethlisberger. Not that you would want that. I mean, who is it? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it Carson Wentz? Who is it?
Who is it?
Wilson could have been Deshaun Watson.
You could say it could have been Russell Wilson, but okay, I'm going to give up this money to make sure I can keep Dak Prescott, even though he doesn't count debilitatingly against the cap because of the way the deal was structured, and it's a relatively short-term deal in the grand scheme of things. We understand all of those nuances that come along with this contract, which is why to some degree we can't completely crucify Jerry Jones for what he ended up paying out, because he thought he definitely bought himself some cushion. My point to you, though, is this. When you look around the league, who are you getting? Because if you went out and you got Russell Wilson, what would you have had to give Seattle in order to get Russell Wilson? So when you say next man up, I'm saying for the Dallas Cowboys, there was no next man. And that's why you were in a pinch, because you waited too long. There was no next man. You squeezed yourself, which you articulated on several occasions about Jerry Jones, which is why you accurately made the prediction that Dak Prescott would get signed to a long-term deal, because Jerry Jones put himself in a corner. You have to look at stuff out there. You saw there were no real options for you, which is why you had to end up giving Dak this money.